Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to another video where today we'll be going over the match day 6 Champions League matches day 1, and some of the matches on this day are very good, so sit tight. Let's get straight into the video. And we have a Dynamo Zagreb versus Celtic. This game could genuinely go either way. Let's get started with Dynamo Zagreb. They have not been too bad this season. Their form for most of the season has been alright. Recently, their last game was actually a struggle as they lost 3-0 to Dortmund. And we know how good Dortmund are truly. They're really good actually, and this game versus Celtic should be an easier one for Dynamo Zagreb. Onto Celtic, they have been not too bad this season. I thought they would struggle just like last season, but they've been putting up some decent results as well. Last game they drew against Club Brugge 1-1, and before that a surprising 3-1 win against Leipzig. We're doing pretty well in the Bundesliga and might be an even game between these two is what I think. My prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw. And we move on to Girona versus Liverpool. This game should be a not too bad game, so let's get started with Girona. They have not been too good this year. Their form throughout the whole campaign has actually been terrible. Only one win coming against Slovan Bratislava, 4-1 win, and last game I honestly thought they would come out with a win, and they played Sturm Graz and they lost 1-0. It's very disappointing from them. On to Liverpool. They're doing actually incredibly well this season in both Premier League and Champions League. They're sat top of both leagues. It's very impressive. Liverpool have won 5 out of 5 games with 1 goal conceded in the Champions League. Now Salah and Van Dijk are truly back to their best. They're doing very well. 2 key players in that Liverpool team, and my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win for Liverpool. Moving on to Brest versus PSV. This game is going to be, I think it's expected to be a pretty tight one. So let's get started with Brest. They have been quite impressive, coming out of nowhere, surprising many people. Their last game was a battle against Barca and they lost 3-0 and still sit in 11th place, which is in a playoff spot at the moment. I think definitely they are one of the most underrated teams in the competition, and this game I think they might pull something out of it. Onto PSV, they've been doing quite decent in the Champions League, only losing 1 match, and I believe that match was in match day 1 against Juventus. Last game was a fairly high scoring one. They played Shakhtar Donetsk and well, they won 3-2. Pepe the American has been a class signing for them. He has been performing very well, and my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for PSV. And we move on to Shakhtar Donetsk versus Bayern. In my opinion, Bayern should win this game with ease, but we never know. It's the Champions League and anything could happen. So let's get started with Shakhtar Donetsk. This season in the Champions League, they have been not too bad. Their form has been a little on and off. They have had tough matches like Atalanta and Arsenal, but recently their form has been okay. Last game they played PSV, who are quite good, and well, they lost 3-2, but they did put up a fight. Onto Bayern, they've been not too bad this season, although a lot of unexpected losses have happened. Form wise, they have not been too good as well. Aston Villa have beaten them earlier on into the campaign 1-0, and in their last game they managed to win 1-0 against PSG. And Kane, as we all know, he has been phenomenal for them, getting assists and goals, but he might be out for this game as I believe he went off in their last game, so we'll have to see if he is going to play in this match. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Bayern. Moving on to Club Brugge versus Sporting. This game could actually be quite decent, so let's get started with Club Brugge. They have actually been not too bad. Form-wise, recently they have been quite good. Like in their last game they played Celtic and they drew 1-1. Before that, it came out of nowhere, a 1-0 win versus Aston Villa. It seems like they're finding ways to get points now, so maybe they will push up into the playoff spot, who knows. Onto Sporting, they have been outstanding this season, although they lost Ruben Amorim to United, and I think due to that they struggled in their last game. It was a huge struggle as Sporting played Arsenal and they got smoked 5-1, and Gyökeres was still able to get some chances despite Arsenal's centre backs being quite aggressive when defending him. And I still think Sporting are a great team in my opinion, but it seems like Ruben Amorim was a huge part in them doing well, so I think Sporting are gonna win this match 3-1. Moving on to RB Salzburg versus PSG. This game should be interesting, so let's get started with Salzburg. They have been struggling so far. Form has not been the best as well. Actually, in their last game they played Leverkusen and wow, they got smoked 5-0. Their only win in the Champions League is against Feyenoord, which they won 3-1 surprisingly, but they gotta turn this around somehow. I honestly thought Salzburg was a pretty good team, but it's not looking too good right now. Onto PSG, they have been quite disappointing to be fair. Really expect them to do better in this campaign. Their only win is against Girona 1-0 in matchday 1, and in their last game they played Bayern, as I mentioned before, and they lost 1-0. Like, the team gets loads of shots, like, for sure, but they just cannot seem to put the ball in the back of the net, and something has to change here, otherwise it is GG's for them. And my prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Now we have RB Leipzig versus Aston Villa. I believe this game is going to be one of the best games on this day. So let's get started with Leipzig. They have been very disappointing in this campaign, sitting 34th in the table with 0 points, which means they have played 5 games and they have lost all of them. It is crazy because they have so much talent in that team with the likes of Openda, Sesko, Xavi Simons, and many other players in there, and honestly it's just not working out for them so far. I don't think they will get into the playoffs, unfortunately. But on to Aston Villa, they have been doing not too bad, although recently their results have not been good. I remember earlier into the campaign they were top of the table, but now they are 9th, which isn't too bad, but they're missing a key player in their team, which is Emi Martinez, very important keeper. So let's see how they do in this match. Hopefully we see them pull out with a win. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. Now we move on to Leverkusen versus Inter. Now this game is probably the biggest game on this day. It's going to be so good. This game is going to be unbelievable. Now let's get started with Leverkusen, the undefeated Bundesliga champions from last season. I'm going to say that almost every video, so but yeah, they have been doing quite well, to be fair. Form-wise, they have been good as well. Their last game, they played Salzburg, and as I mentioned before, they whooped them 5-0. Wirtz getting a double. That guy is an unreal player. Like, this team overall, I'm a huge fan of how they play their football. Onto Inter, they have been very good this season. One of the teams who still remain undefeated, incredibly defensively as well. Like, I think one of the strongest defenses in the Champions League so far. Their form, as we know, has been very good. Last game they played Leipzig and won 1-0, and Lautaro has been such a good scorer for them, top tier player. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Inter. Moving on to Atalanta versus Real Madrid. This game is going to be another good one, so let's get started with Atalanta. They've been doing quite well. I mean, it is expected for them because they are Europa League champions. I mean, they are sat in 5th within the table, undefeated as well, which is crazy. Lookman is a underrated player, for sure. Outstanding winger as well, class at taking players on and even getting goals as well. And in their last match, Atalanta beat Young Boys 6-1, thrashed them. And on to Real Madrid. They have been doing not too bad, but not performing to the standard of the club. They have now lost 2 matches in the league phase. 1-0 loss to Lille in matchday 2. And then in the last game, they lost 3-1 to AC Milan, and Mbappe just seems to be struggling a bit at Real Madrid, even though he is getting goals as well, but it's just not working out for him so far. But hopefully it comes out good. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw between these two. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.